Well, good morning, everybody. It is official. It's time to get our property tour started. We are on our last property tour of 2023. And wow, has it been a crazy year this year? I don't know if anybody else, but this year has gone by so fast. And, I know personally myself, I've been able to accomplish some of my goals, but there's been a lot of goals that I've not quite got to this year. So 2024 is all about accomplishing goals. So my name is Scott Buckholtz. I am your host. We have Yas Hakan, our co-host, and it is December 30th. I cannot believe this year. It's already here and New Year's is right around the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and so we can bring out our featured investor. Mike, can you go ahead and pop on here and share your screen? There you are. Get some of that Joe into you there. Good morning,
Hello.
brother. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you? How are you guys?
Man, I am doing fantastic. I was reflecting this morning. I was trying to sleep in a little this morning because I've kind of been fighting a cold a little bit this week. And my wife had a big surgery, and so she's been laid up for several days. So I've been trying to play, like nurse and that type of thing. But so I got up, I was gonna sleep in a little this morning, but 6 o'clock, my eyes were like wide open. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a weekend, why am I wide awake at 6 o'clock? But I laid there and I was just thinking of some of the things that I really want to get accomplished this year and started writing things down at my desk this morning. So I'm going to finalize my calendar. I've kind of started on it already, but I love doing these property tours, Mike, and we've had you out once before and you did such a phenomenal job of sharing, your story, the deal that you're doing, and just the community and the education and kind of what it's done for you and your lifestyle. I mean, your ability to do what you want to do and travel and things like that. So neat to have you on for our last property tour of the year. And we got a lot of folks on today, Mike, that are new and they've not maybe ever been on a property tour before, so they don't know your story and they don't kind of know what you're doing and things like that. So I really like starting these property tours. If you could tell a little bit about yourself and kind of like what you were doing before you found real estate investing, and maybe what was it? Did you read a book? Did you go to a tour, property tour? What was it that got you interested in real estate investing and our community? What was it about our community that you were like, hey, I want to be a part of this community? Like me, I knew as soon as I went to my first event and I met a bunch of people, I'm like, I want to be a part of this community. So take it from there, Mike, and kind of open things up if you would for today.
Yes, thank you for having me here, and yeah, I'm happy to share my story. Hopefully, you guys can relate, especially new people, uh, to understand that you can accomplish and do things. Right, you just got to put your mind to it. And this is my story. Before doing real estate investing, which I currently do several strategies, I was like everybody else. Right, I came to the U.S. and my first jobs was McDonald's. Um, I work in the food industry. Then I was in the car rental business. Then I started selling cars. But before all of that, I had to learn English. Um, I was living in Mexico for, I would say, 17 years. I was raised there, didn't know English, but I was American. I had to move to the US because the economy there is not great. The opportunities are none near what we have in the US. Um, so I had to move back. I had to go through the fear of coming here to a place that I don't know, and I had to learn English. Started from that job, McDonald's, retail shop, car rental business, and what kept me moving. And I'm sure a lot of you have the same feeling is family, right? You have parents, you have kids, you have siblings, and that is the main drive for a lot of people. Being able to be the powerhouse to provide for them in times of need, and that's what kept me moving into looking for opportunities. I never wanted to settle. At McDonald's, I wanted me to be a manager, and I was like, no, this is not for me. I need to make more, do more in life, so I can provide more for my family. So I kept looking for better jobs, better opportunities, but I realized that there is this thing called a rat race after I read this book. And how I realized that, why was I reading things? Because I was working so hard, even two full-time jobs, and I was still stuck. I could not afford an apartment for myself. I could not afford everything basic needs as everybody else, a car payment, an apartment, food, having fun. Two full-time jobs. I didn't have a time. And I was like, what's going on? What is the formula? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, work super hard, give the time right to the boss. And I was barely saving any money. And I read this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I read this book called The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that opened up to the concept of what the right risk means. And I was stuck there in that circle. And I realized and understood that I had to be a business owner and an investor to make it out of that cycle, that vicious cycle. So I was looking for opportunities. I was like, what am I going to do? What business am I going to do? Because being an employee, you have a cap. You only have 24 hours. Humanly, your body can only work maybe 12 hours a day, every single day for a while before you get sick. And you have a cap on your income many times. So I was looking for businesses. I couldn't find anything that I could actually do because a lot of things take a lot of money, and banks are tight on people that they don't have experience in a specific business. And you have to have some kind of previous experience, and hopefully you make it through that business. The blessing was in the car business when I was selling cars. At that point, one of my guys that worked there, he came to the dealership and he quit the job. He's like, and he was like 55, 58 years old. He came in, he quit the dealership, and he's like, I'm gone. And then I call him after. I'm like, hey, where do you go? What other dealership do you go to? Because usually when you're in an industry and you like it or you're just like used to it, you just bounce around between competitions because you see greener pastures somewhere else. I thought that's what he did. And he's like, no, this community, I'm a real estate investor now. I'm doing real estate and I don't need this job anymore. And I'm like, are you kidding me? There's no way. He's like, you should come and check out this community and the property tour, which is an event where it's like this, but it's real and live in person. He invited me to the property tour. I saw what they were doing. People that weren't even speaking English. They didn't know English. They were doing deals. They didn't have money or credit. And I was seeing this deal and I was like, are you kidding me? They're making 70,000, 80,000 on a flip without using money or credit, without even speaking English. Uh, and then I realized you can own a business in real estate, many different businesses, because there's many different things to do in real estate. But then you can also take those profits and reinvest it in real estate, which will produce you cash flow. And how easy it is to borrow the money for real estate because it's an asset. It's something that they can put a lien on. And as long as the numbers work, you're good to go. I saw the opportunity. I'm like, this is what I need to get out of the rat race and live the life that I want. Have more money, but also have the time to enjoy the money. Because out there, you usually do either or. You either sacrifice your time, you have no time, you're a slave, and you have a lot of money, but you can't use it, or you want more time, then you work less, but you have less money. So you're kind of in a tough spot. I was like, I want them both at the same time. And real estate, when you start investigating what real estate does for people, it's unbelievable. And that's what I wanted to do. And I went all in into doing this. And funny enough, I was a mortgage lender after being a car salesman for a while. And you would think that you need to be a realtor or be a mortgage lender to learn real estate investing. You're not going to learn real estate investing through those routes. There is a different way to do things. A real estate investor is different. So I realized those two differences and then learned the strategies and I applied it. Now I have 9 short-term rentals.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible, Mike. What a great story. I mean, I think I'm so glad you shared that because a lot of people on today can resonate, working those two full-time jobs like you were, and just knowing somewhere up in your mind there was just something better out there, right? And that you wanted to get out of the rat race. And that's what it is. It is a rat race. It's like running around in this maze and you're just constantly running around, right? And was it, let me ask you this question. Was it hard? Because I know you have to be successful in anything that you do, you have to have the right mindset. And whatever it is, whether it's going on and being a doctor or opening up a restaurant or whatever, becoming a professional golfer or but Was it hard for you to shift that mindset from, coming from Mexico, having to learn English, very fluently, and you speak, I mean, it's incredible your English, but going from, all you knew was working really hard. Like I'm imagining working two full-time jobs. You're working what, 70, 80, 90 hours a week? How did you shift your mindset to the like, hey, I've got to learn, I've got to be coachable, I got to be teachable. How did that all come about for you?
So it was hard because unfortunately you can't control the where you're born, the cities, the surroundings, the people that are near you, and you really get programmed since you're little from the people and their mindsets around you, and that can like automatically you're born and then you're thrown with all these mentalities and ideas and beliefs that if then you want to expand out of that box, there are huge blockages that you have to break through to open up and live a different life. Like in Mexico, many things in my town, this is a little town, there is many cute phrases they throw out there, like money is not happiness, don't be greedy, um, the rich are evil, you're never gonna be rich because your parents are not rich, um, you gotta work very hard, right, to be rich, for example. So all those things, I came to the US, and then the other thing is like we're not good enough. We're good for labor jobs, and so all those mentalities, and I was like full of fear and anxiety because that was my reality. The other reality was like the racism in the US, and you're never gonna make it there, and you should stay here in Mexico because your parent. There's a bunch of stuff, and I came here with all this anxiety, but I knew I had to make a change because nothing was changing, and I was done. I was tired of it. When if you feel that you're not happy where you are and nothing is changing, but your mindset and the people around you are telling you you're right, you're in the right place, you're not in the right place. That's their mentality. So I moved here with all these fears, and I had to go through a lot of things, like the mindset of keep pushing even though I was failing or I was not getting what I wanted. I had to keep pushing, not quit, and find other ways, find other vehicles. What helped me a lot, besides the drive to help my family, was also reading a lot of books, self development books. I do not read fantasy books. I don't like messing up with reality. So I read a lot of self development, let's say how to overcome fears, how to make friends, how to make money, how business works, how investing works. So all those businesses together, selling, all of that together, that helps you absorb people that are at way higher levels in life. You absorb their mentality, and that helps you fight your current blockages, and you can break through, and that continue to move. It's like it gives you faith because you really need faith. You're not seeing the results right now. Faith is that you can see the future. You know it's going to happen without even having it in front of you. And to help that faith, read a lot of self-development books, follow people that are successful, listen to them, and God, obviously, go to church, pray to God. All those things combined, trust me, that you will get out of it. But you have to change your mindset. Otherwise, you're gonna be stuck for like ever. Count how many people have died living the same way, in the same city, in the same house, in the same job since they're little or born. How many? I believe there's a high percentage because not a lot of people want to go through pain or go through uncomfort to change their surroundings or their life.
Well, Mike, that was fantastic. I'm so glad that you shared all that. Um, you talked about, how you found the community, and someone from where you were working invited you out to something, and you went to a real property tour, like at a actual deal that was going on, and were a part of that. What did you see in the community? Because I think this is really good to share with people, because there are folks on today who are trying to check us out or check this community. They may be even like, is real estate investing for me? I think it is. I've read a book. I've heard and I see people how they do deals, or people talk about how they're doing deals without using their own money or their own credit. How does this all happen? How does it can be confusing. And what happens when people have confused minds, right? They kind of like shut down. And so, what about this community was like, this is what I need to do? Because you said you were like all in. You were like, you saw something, you heard something, you experienced something that you were like, your mind clicked. I mean, yeah, you were already reading books, so you were already developing that mindset. But what was it that was like, I want to be a part of this group of people? What was it, Mike? Can you remember? Can you put your finger on it?
Yes. Before that, excuse my Big Daddy cup. I didn't realize I have that one.
No, I love that cup. I love it, brother.
um, so the community, it was what I saw was the friendliness, and you feel at home. You feel with family. You feel with people that you can trust. It's different when you don't have a community. You're just alone, right? There's no. I feel like I wasn't alone in this business because if I needed something, there was always someone because we're many. There's always someone with an answer. And you can even get so many answers to the same question. And that helps a lot. The resources that you get, the connections that you get, you need something, you throw it out there, and they have that energy and mentality to help you win. Because we understand that if you win, we all win. It's that abundance mentality that I saw. Um, and all that, the connections and the mindset. I was in love with being with people that wanted the same thing that I wanted and that were in higher levels that I can easily be next to them and help my mindset as well and the knowledge. Yeah, that's what got me with the
I
community.
So that what you just shared with everybody, I really hope everybody just sat back and listened to that because that is so powerful. And to kind of segue right into these to what you're going to share some pictures of and some numbers on here is that you found this deal through somebody in the community, right?
The one that I'll be showing, not from someone in the community, but I have four that I will show quickly on the screen on the
Right.
map that I got from someone in the community because they throw deals out there on the we have private groups. There's just deals there that you can just pick up if you want them.
Right. And so you saw this and you ran the numbers worked. So I'll let you go ahead and pull and share up your screen if you would.
Yes. Let's see.
And while you're doing that, you mentioned early on that you've actually done several strategies. You're sharing a short-term rental strategy today, correct?
Yes, that's the short-term rental strategy.
And you've done other strategies. What other type of strategies have you worked on?
I've done. I've worked on flip, wholesaling, long-term rental, and the short-term rental. And I do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I do because you just gotta pick. Do you want massive income? Do you want passive income? What is your need currently? And then that's how I pick what I'm gonna be doing.
And doesn't, every time you see a deal that comes across your table or comes across to you, sometimes the deal kind of dictates what it is. It might be a fantastic location where a short-term rental would just knock it out of the park and that you'd make more income from a short term than a long term, right? And then
Yes,
some
exactly.
and then sometimes you look at it as short term and you're like, you know what? The numbers really work as a long-term rental better. And because of location or because of, different factors, so and I know one of the many things that I've learned from this community that you talked about, just the collaboration from people, is that you need to look at multiple exit strategies when you look at a deal. And is the deal good for a flip? Is it good for a long-term rental? Is it good for short term? Or should you wholesale the deal? There's so many different things to look at. And so go ahead if you want to share your screen on this. And I think everybody will be really excited that you're on these deals that you're doing right now.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, there's a screen. Can you guys see it?
No, we're still seeing you.
Oh, weird. Okay, hold on. Let me. Oh, okay. Let me jump here. Do you see it now?
Yes, we see your full
Okay.
computer with several pictures, some dates and things like that. Yes.
Okay. So right here, that's the if you have an Airbnb account, people call this a strategy sometimes Airbnb, but it's not Airbnb. Airbnb is a platform. It's short-term rentals. You just get properties and short-term rent them. And we use Airbnb. That's one of the platforms to market and get clients, right? So let me show you quickly the portfolio, and I'm gonna go into the one I'm talking about. I have 10. Oh, and besides the short-term rental, I'm wholesaling also short-term rental arbitrage, which it's a new concept. So there's a 10, right? The one I'm talking about is this one. Where is it? This one right here. That is a unit. It's got a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and both bathrooms are full bathrooms. So it's got a shower, which is perfect.
Could
Um,
do you mind clicking on maybe a one or two of those pictures to make them big so people can see how beautiful
yeah,
you, because you've really set these up nice, Mike.
thank you. That was my girlfriend partner. She's amazing at looking at stuff. Because if it was me, everything would be dark and like not good looking.
I've noticed over the last few years you like a lot of black.
Yeah. Even my car is black,
Nothing wrong with black. Black is really attractive, but I'm just saying that, yeah, you're right. You probably would have had black walls and
Yeah. My black cup, drinking coffee and
your black shirt, your black hat. Whoever thought, you like the color black?
yeah. Okay, now the picture. This is the master bedroom. We did a theme of like a rock band, like famous people. I'm not very good at like knowing Hollywood celebrities and people's musicians. So I'm not really into the entertainment side, but you guys might recognize these people in the pictures. Anyways,
Yeah,
um,
I saw that guy.
they have I have a TV on each bedroom or one bedroom at least. The master. This is the bathroom. That's a tattoo artist tattooing a guy. And then as you can tell here, there is a soap that we use, how we set up the unit, and it's easy for people to use. In the cabinet, it's locked because it's our supplies. We don't give people access to that, only cleaners. Yeah, this is the other bedroom. It's got a CD player here, and then more musicians and stuff.
Looks like
Um,
did you have these pictures done professionally?
No. So what happened is we found this guy that he's an artist that he has all these pictures and collections. They're originals, I guess. And we bought it all, the whole because he was moving out of the state back to New York, I believe. And his whole apartment was full with those pictures. So we just bought the whole thing at a discount and then just put it in the unit.
How about the photography itself? Did you do that professionally?
I did, yeah.
Because that looks really good. That is such, and I know how powerful that is because people make decisions based on pictures and based on amenities and things like that. And of course, location is the most, important thing. But I'm just telling you, those pictures are bright. They're beautiful. I mean, I want to go stay there myself.
I'll send you the link. But yeah, it was a photographer because you don't want to. I mean, part of being a business professional, you have to be professional. You can't just take pictures with your phone because it's not the same. It's different lenses, different lighting. Um, yeah, so professional pictures, and that helps a lot, obviously, because there's a competition out there, and if yours looks not professional, they're gonna book with someone else, and that's how you go down in this business. People are like, "Oh, I don't make money in short-term rentals." Are you doing things right? Some make money, some lose money, some break even. It just depends how good of a host and operator you are, how much you know about the business. Um, so yeah, this is the pictures, the map. You see Salt Lake City right here. I have most of mine are in Salt Lake City. That one is around Sugar House, which is a very popular area. It's around here, the Sugar House area. I love this location and it's very successful because it's a very nice neighborhood, but also the freeway access is 2 minutes. You can go to Park City, which is a resort for snow, and you can go to the city right away. So it's perfect, right? What else? Any questions you guys have?
So, Mike, these 4 units that you have, are you doing arbitrage on these?
Yes, the 10 are arbitrage. So
Can you
crazy thing.
explain that a little bit? Can you explain that a little bit for folks?
Yes. Crazy thing is, you do not have to own the property to have short-term rentals. I got the 10 in a span of 1 year, and I took like a 3 month break. If I went savage mode, which I would probably get to 15 or 20 that same year. Um, but yeah, I got the 10. They're arbitrage, so we don't own the property. We rent it out and sublease it through Airbnb, VRBO, the short-term rental route, and then we just put furniture. So let's say usually you got to put 15-20% down on a house. Then because it's a big house, you're spending double to furnish the place. You can literally spend the same and getting 8-10 of them, and you don't have to own the property. You don't have to do any of that. Um, and the other thing is, I did it without using my own money, because we learn that you cannot do things by yourself and expand fast. You need other people's time, other people's money, other people's knowledge. So I found this partner and funded the deals. And then from the deals, I produced the cash flow to buy more and get to the 10 units. And make sure that you're approved by the management too. You can't, there is people that I've heard and that they don't know how to do this business, but they watch a YouTube video and they can go and lie to a property management that they're going to live there, or it's for business, and they don't tell them exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They will find out you're doing this and they'll evict you. And there is stuff on the contract that if you don't do it right, they could have you and sue you to pay them the whole year of rent or whatever the terms on the contract is. So I would recommend learn this business very well.
Well,
Don't just jump on it, because you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing.
well, that leads into one of my questions, Mike. Did you just wake up one morning and stretch and decide to get a cup of coffee and go, you know what, I'm going to do short-term rentals and I'm going to go out and do the arbitrage model? How did you figure all that out?
So
Because
the crazy part, I told you I was a mortgage lender for a year and a half. They laid us off, like about 110 loan officers gone on a Zoom call. They're like, the rates are going up. The goals of the company have changed. You guys end the call. You're fired pretty much, right? The cool thing about that part is that at that last week they laid us off, I finished watching this courses on short-term rental arbitrage. Literally that week I finished it. It was like a sent by God, right? So I walked out. I was depressed. Obviously, I have all this debt. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I was like, do I go back into a normal job or do I go and do real estate investing full time? So I picked that because I realized a job is not secure. If the company is going down, you're just a number. They're gonna cut you out,
right.
right? So I did that, went out, and my first 2 weeks looking for them, I found my first one. 2 weeks later, find my second one. A month later, another one and another one and another one. The last month that I got the 4 in that year, I bought the 4 in one hit from a member of the community. So that got me to 10. And thanks God, I've never had to go back to a job again, ever again. I could pick, like, if I'm fascinated about feeding lions, right? And I don't care if they pay me $10 an hour, I would do it now because it's something that I want to. It's not like I depend on the income now. It's a freedom that you get. So that's what I did, the 10, and learn from the courses and literally apply step by step, because we learn from the beginning to the end how to literally do it. And you just got to copy and paste the formula. And the first
So
one I did
you're
before, huh?
you're referring to the short-term rental courses that we have with our education platform, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is a good this is a fantastic segue to mention. We're about halfway through, Mike. So it's a good time to mention for folks who are on. If you're a guest today and you're on and you're listening to Mike and you've heard his story and things like that, and you're trying to check this whole community out, because it is an incredible community. I would not be where I am today. I mean, that saying, Mike, you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I live by that saying every day. I'm learning new things every day in this group, in this community, but I would not be able to do what I do today without this community. So if you're on today and you're trying to figure this whole thing out, real estate investing, maybe you've already got a short-term rental. Maybe you have a long-term rental. Maybe you've done a flip, but you'd like to be a part of a community. You'd like to expand on your business and grow your business and surround yourself with like-minded people, as Mike talked about earlier. Right after the property tour at 5 after the top of the hour, we've got a what we call an overview or an intro into our community that'll expand on a lot more information for you. And it's on a different link. So text or get back to whoever invited you today and say, hey, I want to plug into that overview or that intro into the community right after this property tour. Can you send me the link? And we'll get you all fixed up on that. I wanted to mention that, Mike, because you've been throwing so much great information out. I know people are kind of thinking like, how do I get to the next level? How do I figure out like what Mike has figured out, because there could be people on today, Mike, that have worked they've gone through 2023 and they've been working two full-time jobs like you did and are just like, man, I'm giving all my time up. I'm making this money and paying the bills and I'm surviving, but there's got to be more out there. And so thanks, Mike, for letting me mention that if that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. So
Happy
keep
to.
rolling. I know you got some numbers you want to share with people. People love looking at the numbers. I mean, this business is all about the numbers. Obviously, before you decided to do these 4 units, you looked at the numbers. You looked at where you could be on your occupancy. You looked at, what the average rate was, things like that. Can you go ahead and want to share some numbers with folks?
Yes, there's the estimated numbers right here. So, and each unit can be different, and also your income will depend on the management. It also depends on the seasonality, and it also depends on the year. Like 2023 year's profit, it's not going to be the same as 2024, 2025. It's all different, but this one, it gives you an idea on what it is like. On this specific unit, for example, rent 1650. Will has a program that I use to manage my pricing automatically, like automating. All this is automating the business. Vivint, security system 35, turnover, smart B&B, the cleaner, electricity, gas, everything. You're going to range between 2000 to 2020, 26 on expenses, monthly income. This is just an estimate range, 3033. I've been up in some months that is 3300. So you're going to be around 500 to 1100 a month. I would average to 800 per unit. And I used to not allow pets in my units, and I only use Airbnb. So I'm adding VRBO and other platforms, and I'm allowing pets now, which this will change, right? So it depends on the area, depending on how you manage. If you are at, let's say, $1,000 profit, if that's where you get, you want to make 10 grand a month, get 10 of those. Get in the right locations, managed right, and play with the fees, with the numbers. But it's a good cash flow. That's why I love this business. If you run it correctly, it's a good cash flow. You can be sometimes at 200 in 1 month. Maybe 1 month you break even. Maybe 1 month you're at $1,000. It just depends. But you're gonna be ranging about this.
So looking at your numbers there, Mike, you were averaging you said 500, 1100, but that's about to change because obviously if you allow pets and you have to pay a pet fee, you're going to get that money back from the tenant. You're going to change those rates, correct?
Yeah, so the rate stays the same, but I'm charging, and I'm gonna look more into it. I'm charging right now $50 extra in the reservation if you have a pet. So I'm averaging like 5 pets per month. But obviously, if that number is higher, that even increases the cash flow.
Right.
Also, the cleaner, we pay $60 for cleaning, but we charge 110, 120 for cleaning fee, usually. So you get to keep the rest of the money also. So it's like owning a cleaning company without having to own a cleaning company.
Sure. Sure.
Uh,
Now that the estimated income, what are you basing occupancy on? What number are you conservatively looking at?
so that program Wheelhouse, you put it automatically. Like if you want to be aggressive in price, market price, or lower. But I do my minimum to $80, and then it goes from 80 to 180, 190, 190. But also, I've dropped it down all the way to like 45 a night, but not for many nights. You got to check if you have vacancy the next day, which usually Monday and Tuesday are the slowest. And if I'm on Monday and I don't have anything, but I have more bookings later, I'm going to just drop it $50 this day, 55 the next day, and then 70, and then 90, and then 100. So you just got to manipulate those numbers. But I do that manually though. And
Okay.
all the systems, I only spend, believe it or not, for the 10 units, about 2 hours per week on my phone. Like I can be anywhere with internet. I can run this business and messages are sent automatically. The security system is automatic. The pricing is automatic. The cleaning system is automatic. I mean, I like
So
how
you mentioned you have 10 units and they're all in the Salt Lake City area. Is that correct?
yeah. So I got two right here, one around here. Then I have the four that I bought. They're like blocks from the capital, the state capital. And
Yeah.
I have another one around. So the four around here, and then the other one are around right here. And then I have one by the University of Utah, which is, I believe, somewhere around here, just minutes from the University of Utah, the hospital. Um, yeah, so it's like
So
in very good locations.
yeah, they are. They're fantastic locations. So I'm just curious. I don't know if anybody else is curious online. Is out of the 10 units, you have total 10. What would you say your average monthly occupancy is? Is it 60%, 70%, 80%? I mean, I know you
It,
know your numbers, but what would it be?
I would say 80 something, 84%. Um, but it also changes depending on how well you're managing the pricing. You can be at 100% occupancy even on a slow month because your price is lower. But the average with regular pricing, you might be around 84, 85%.
That's
Um,
fantastic. 84 or 85%.
yeah.
That is
So
fantastic.
you just got to work out the number. As long as you're making more than you're spending, and make sure your costs are lower, everything else is just a machine that just runs by itself. You just go and tweak it a little bit here and there. Um, but you got to know what you're doing. Obviously, you can lose money on this thing too if you don't know. So
Well, I'm glad you said that because it's like any business that someone might start, Mike. There's upsides and there's downsides. And there's always that possibility of not making money in a business. But what have you been able to do with our community to make sure that you are successful? What tools have you used?
So pretty much the courses give you everything. It's crazy. But what I like about the community is that I get pointers. Like we got people that are doing just short-term rentals, for example. They're pros at it, and they might have other stuff that they're using that you're not using. And you get to ask them questions like, hey dude, how do you do it for this? I have this problem. How do you solve it? Which I've added a few like advice here and there, like, hey, I'm having challenges with having to wash the linens every single time. They have to take it somewhere. How do you deal with it management? And they're like, oh, do this. There's the link, and this is what product that I use. Or if you have a problem, you tell them, hey, I'm facing this issue right now. How have you done with it? Yes, this is what I did. And so it's just that the help there. You just, as I said, you're not alone. There's always someone. As long as you're trying to be friends, though, you don't want to
Yeah.
not be friendly. Just shoot up text to people to help you when you're not even talking to them at all.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that because one of the things that really interests me when I got involved in this community, I've actually been in this community 8 years now. And one of the things that really I saw it immediately. I felt it in my heart, like deep inside me, that this was a group of people that was about collaborating. It was a group of people about sharing and helping. Okay. And and what I mean when I say collaborating, not only collaborate to do deals with each other, but potentially collaborate like knowledge and information and experiences are so powerful. And which I love so much from our instructors of our courses is that these are folks that have done millions of dollars in this industry, and they share their experiences, not only good, but the mistakes that they made and what they learned from. Because, like any business, Mike, you know, you're going to make mistakes. The key is to make small mistakes, right? Not make the large ones. The other day I was on one of the groups that I've been part of, and I saw somebody that was getting rid of all their arbitrage units. They had like 8 arbitrage units, and they were getting rid of them over the next 90 days because their leases were expiring. And I won't say what city it was in, but I saw several other comments from other investors. They're like, why are you getting rid of them? Because I'm blowing it up, like, and I, first thing I thought of is this individual, I bet they're not a part of it because I didn't really know them. And I said, I'm thinking, I bet they're not part of a community. I bet they don't have the knowledge and the ability to share, because here you got a couple people asking them, like, why are they getting out of this business or the arbitrage model? Because they're in it and they're doing really well and they're in the same city. So knowledge is so powerful, right, Mike? I mean, it's so powerful, and how you apply it is even more powerful. And has there been anything particular in our courses and our community of our platform of education that has been very powerful or key for you for building your business?
Yes, it's the cool thing is like we not only learn about real estate investing, which for new people, there is many strategies that you have no clue exist. We learn all that. You have all the tools, but besides real estate, we learn social media, we learn marketing, we learn how to create a business, how taxes and legal work, everything that you need knowledge wise for a business starting and being successful and expanding and being successful. We have every single course, uh, which has changed the whole thing. But please don't do this, because this is gonna get you to a very slow path, right? There's people that are like, I will do it by myself and I'll learn on my way. It will take you years and mistakes. For example, if you want to get into short-term rentals, do you think it's easier for you to jump in without knowing anything and fail all these times to learn what I learned, or just come and ask me how to do it when I've gone through it already for the years? You're saving years and failures just by asking the question to people that have gone through that. That's the cool thing about the courses. We're learning from people that are literally doing that strategy and being successful and have done it for decades. And you're saving all that headache in just a short format that you can just watch.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice. And again, for folks who are on today, if you got on late, uh, right after this property tour today, if you want to learn more about our community and about the education that Mike's been talking about, and maybe more about the short-term rental strategy itself, as there are so many out there. There is right after this, there's an overview, an introduction into our community, that's at a different Zoom link. So you'll want to get back to invited you, and they'll get you that link. It'll be well worth your time. If you still have some time available after this, it'll be well worth your time to learn more about our community. And Mike, so as we kind of wrap up the year, and this property tour, and again, thank you so much for getting on and sharing. I mean, and I love from the fact that we have so many people who want to come out and that are in our community, that want to share their story with people and they want to help others. And I know, Mike, that's something that you strive for. And I see every once in a while on Facebook, the next person or the next couple you've shared this community with, that are getting started on their career or their opportunity or their journey. And so I love seeing that. But how do you kind of want to wrap up with folks today, and what words of advice? And again, for folks who are on today, I mean, I love Mike's story, and maybe you're not from another country, maybe you've been born and raised here in America, and so forth. But Mike shared about the surroundings that he grew up with, and we all have surroundings that we grow up with. And I know what my mom and dad loved them to death. They were hardworking. They did that 40-40-40 plan, Mike, right? They worked for 40 years of their life, to um, to earn 40% of their on their retirement, and you know, I see so many people who are working in their 70s, 80s, and so forth, not because they want to, not because they do it for like keeping active and things, because they got to pay the bills still, and they've worked their whole life. And so, how do you want to wrap these things, this meeting up today with folks? And we will not be, just real quick too, Mike, next Saturday, we will not have a property tour because we have another big event going on. And if you want to be a part of that and plug into that, please do. But the next Saturday after that, we'll be back on with another property tour. But Mike, how would you like to wrap up today for everybody?
So the advice that I give you is, if you're not happy where you are, change for the people that trust you, that love you, that believe in you, and the people that depend on you. Make the change. If I could do it with no English, came from another country, especially if you're American and you're born and raised here, you know everything here. If I could do it, trust me, you can do it. All you need is simple knowledge and relationships. That's it. And you wanting to make a change. Being uncomfortable, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like if you got money in your bank account, if you got a lot of time off or whatever makes you feel comfortable, get rid of it so you're uncomfortable and you keep pushing. Uh, look into this opportunity. It's changed my life completely, my mindset. I was a super introvert. I didn't do or know what I know now. But thanks to the knowledge and the community and me wanting to change, I made it happen. There's obviously not promised results because we don't know if we really want it bad enough. So make a change, make goals, huge goals for next year, and just keep working on them. Because if you quit, the only way to lose is quitting. That's it. Just keep going.
Well, Mike, I learned something new about you today. I didn't realize you were an introvert.
Oh
You
yeah,
would
I did
never you would
before.
never know that knowing you today that you were an introvert before. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's
it's
amazing.
you can get out of introversion. I think being an introvert is more like you're not confident enough, and you're not confident in yourself to be out there, and you feel judgment. You fear judgment, but when you increase your knowledge, you start knowing how valuable you are and understanding the world, and that helps you be more confident. Then you can break out of that.
Let's see if we have any final questions too as we wrap up today. Just a lot of thank yous. Yep. Congratulations. Let's see anyone. Okay. Nope. Looks like we're good, Mike. You did a great job. Again, thank you so much. I am so happy that you were able to join us today and just you take some time out and share and give back. And I love keeping connected this coming year. Hope to see you out at one of our events, whether it's a regional or it's the national conference this year in Salt Lake City. I'm sure you'll be there and look forward to seeing you then. But for everybody who's on today, again, we will be back in 2 weeks with our next property tour. And this coming weekend, which is the 6th, January 6th, we'll actually have a national event that we're all getting connected with. And so if you want to learn more about that, get back with Invited You and they can invite you out for that. Mike, I hope you have a great new year and a great start for this year coming up. And appreciate you, brother, a lot. Thank you for everything you do for the community and how much you give back. So appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Happy to be here and help you.
All right. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. Take care, everyone.